People in the world just love to put you down, don't they? People will do anything and find any excuse to hate on your success. Well, today we're going to be speaking about that, and we're actually going to be speaking about why that is a good thing, and why that is something that should make you happy and motivated. Now, this is something that we've all known, and it's something that I've known for basically forever, right? People are very negative. But at the same time, when you have been uploading YouTube videos, especially at the frequency that I have been recently, you see it a lot more. Because there's a lot of people in the comments who can make quick or sweeping judgments about you and your thoughts, whilst you obviously can't make them about them. Now, I'm not the sort of person who needs to find a retort to feel happy. I don't need to, give someone something back. But at the same time, it's an exemplified experience of the real world. Because obviously on the internet, people feel a lot more comfortable sharing their true views and exposing themselves for who they really are. And again, it's just an exasperated version of real life where people just are very negative. Obviously, my experience hasn't been all bad of the world and of YouTube. For every one hate comment, you might get 10 love comments. Or for every one person saying it's not going to work, you might get 5 people saying it can. But still, there is a large proportion of people who just don't think anything can work. And every single one of the concepts that I've spoken about on the channel here has been bashed at some point. Making money, well, you can't do that, it's not sustainable. Moving abroad, well, you can't do that, it's expensive, you can't get a visa. I don't know. Not necessarily needing to follow a traditional path, well, why would you want to do that? People will hate on everything, on anything. And I think the reason for it is because it makes them uncomfortable. I think that's one of the reasons. And also because they're so deeply entrenched in ideas themselves. You see, if you are genuinely of a strong opinion, and I mean genuinely, I don't mean on the internet or anything like that, the things that I speak about are things that I do, right? So when I'm talking about making money online, I've got the eBay statements of sales that I have made. Sales of the past month coming up to about £8,300 in revenue, not profit, but still. So I don't need someone on the internet to back me up or believe in my views. But at the same time, if you're not of that nature, then this is a very soul-destroying thing, because the people around you are probably not on side. And I've always believed this and known this, but I think it's actually true. Your biggest hater right now is probably someone that you know. Probably someone that you know intimately. Someone who you're very close with. And they just don't want to see you shine. Now again, why is this? Well, first things first, it depends what we're talking about, but generally, it is anything. I'll use an example of making a business. Well, obviously making a business comes with risk. I know that, you know that, everybody watching this knows. But at the same time, is it still not worth a chance? I think it is. But so many people don't like the concept, and like I say, it's a funny thing to me, because it makes if you're watching this and you're a hater, it makes no difference to your life at all if I try build a business and end up as a failed 50-year-old, right? If I end up completely failed and life never amounted to anything, it doesn't affect your life. You won't even know me, right? So it doesn't matter. So you're just putting me down for the sake of putting me down at that point. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think this comes from a concept of they don't believe they can do something, and therefore you can't do anything, or anyone can't do it. This goes back to a concept that I spoke about a week or two ago, the growth limiting mindset, and I think it is based on the same thing. People don't think they can do, and when you don't think you can do, and someone else is proving that you can, that likely makes you feel uncomfortable. Now there's 2 ways of approaching that. The way that I would approach, actually no, there's 3 ways of approaching it. Approach 1 is the way that I would do. If there's something that I'm interested in, because there's a lot of people shining in areas that I don't care about, and that's fair enough. I'm not going to hate, but I don't mind, right? If you're the best esports player, not really something that I'm interested in. But if someone pulls up next to me in a Bugatti or a Lamborghini and says that they're going to give me business advice, or even if they don't, even if they just pull up, the amount of times that I've asked owners of Rolls Royces and Ferraris, what job is it that you do? What business do you run? Because I'm interested. I'm not going to hate, I want to learn. That's one approach. Approach two, like I said, I think is just not to care. I don't think there's anything negative about this approach at all. If you don't care, then you don't care either way, right? You don't feel anything positive about it, but you don't feel anything negative about it. Again, maybe you're a world-class cyclist. Well, that's great, that's really cool, but it's none of my business. I'm not too interested. And then there's a blatant haters. I think it's because the concept of it is so far from their reality and their experience that the concept of changing a whole worldview, a whole ideology, is scary. And when you're approached with fear, of course, you have the fight or flight approach, kind of. And obviously there is no real, running away from the concept or running towards it. But running towards it, as a metaphor, would be, like I said, mate, how did you afford that car? Or how have you started this business? Or how can I move to this place? That's running towards the fear, because a lot of your opinions are going to be challenged. A lot of your understandings are going to be proven to be wrong. And there's going to be a lot of times where you're just completely up against a wall and you feel like you don't know a thing. Now, obviously, the flight approach is going to be the opposite of that. Well, no, it can't be done. Because if I scream loud enough and say it can't be done loud enough, I don't have to change my opinions. And I don't have to look at anything from a different approach. Now, again, there is always the middle approach, which I think is probably, for most people, the most sensible. If it doesn't matter to you, then don't care. You don't need to worry about it. Just, if you're not got anything positive to say nothing at all. But that's what secure people do, not what insecure people do. Because when someone challenges what you know or believe to be true, that's probably quite scary. And again, you're not ready to have your worldviews challenged. Now, going on to how that's a good thing for us, or for you, or for me. Number one, it can never be a bad thing. That's the first thing. Because don't take opinions from people who do not have a deep stake in your life. For instance, anybody in the YouTube comment section, positive or negative. And again, guys, I'm not saying this to be rude. I know a lot of you guys like the videos, and I love interacting in the comments with all of you guys, right? I've met some great people from the YouTube experience, it's been great. But, at the same time, no one in the comment section is really deeply invested in my life. And I wouldn't expect you to be, right? Why would you be? You don't know me, we've not known each other for years, we're not friends or family necessarily. So fair enough. So it can never be a bad thing, because likely their opinion doesn't matter. And even if it is a supposed friend, that's not a very good friend, is the first thing, if they're negative. And if it's a family member, just remember, family are the people who you're born with, not necessarily the people who you choose to spend time with. If you're blessed enough to have a good family, as I am, that's great. Not everybody does, and they feel bad for it, but likely, they're just not the right people for you. So that's one thing. Second to that, on top of the fact that it can never be a bad thing, it proves that you're challenging people's ideologies. It proves that you're challenging people's ideologies. I have never met anybody who makes more money than me tell me that carrying on with my business is a bad idea. I've never met anyone who does. I've never met anybody who started a large company or a small company that does well, has achieved something that's told me not to take risks, right? And the same would be true. If someone said that I want to start making £100 or dollars a month, let's say a year, on eBay or on YouTube, you know what my approach would be, my response? Go for it. Because what have you got to lose? And also, I know it's possible. Now, maybe that is a little bit of the, I can't remember what they call it. Is it the, survivorship bias, in the sense that you follow that path and it's worked out for you, so you're likely to believe it? Anything that affirms that belief? Maybe that is partially what it is. And maybe that's why millionaires and rich people will always tell you to start a business. People who have lots of friends will tell you to go out and meet people. Maybe it's that. But why look to losers for motivation? And a loser, people might say, well, Mike's got a Mercedes. Do you want a Mercedes, right? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm not looking to people who don't have what I want for a bit of advice. Why would I? It makes no sense. So their opinion doesn't matter. And the fact that you are challenging it, you're taking, if you're following negative people, you've taken advice from people who likely haven't got a clue. I want one person in the comment section of, not necessarily this video, but of any of my other videos that I've ever made. I want to find, because I can't find it, I've looked. I want to find one business owner hating on my concept of running a business. I want to find one person who's moved abroad hating on my concept of moving abroad. And by the way, sharing advice or constructive criticism is not bad, right? If someone says, well, don't move until you've got this, or don't start a business until you've done that, that's fair if it's accurate. It's not a blatant shutdown of a concept, so please don't get me mistaken. But I've never found one. Everyone telling me to stop running a business, I asked them what they do. Some of them obviously don't respond. Some of them come back with the typical abuse. Again, the idea of shutting you down. And the ones who are open-minded enough, and respect to this at least, the ones who are open-minded enough to explain what they do, it's something that I wouldn't even want to do, right? Maybe that's my laziness, maybe it's my own bias, but why would I limit myself to a mindset? Why would I limit myself? Why would I not be trying to grow on every front that I can for the rest of my life? Why give up lifelong learning? And I think this ties very well in with a video that I've just filmed about why people's souls are just unfulfilled. Because they live like this, right? They live like this, hating on other people. I don't think it's a trait that successful people have. And like I say, success means very different things to very different people. It is not necessarily about having a mansion or $1 million. It is not necessarily about having a Lamborghini. It's not necessarily about even being the strongest or the largest person that you can be. Now, I know a lot of people in the comments will say, well, these are good traits to have, and obviously they are. The traits that I would aspire to, but at the same time, it's not for everyone. So measures of success are different. And taking advice from unsuccessful people seems to be one of the stupidest things that I could think to do. Don't give people a chance to put you down, because they will. And going back on that concept quickly, you're going to face this a lot. Get ready to face this every day. And it's actually slightly amusing to me, because the larger things get, the more people pay attention. But the larger things get, the more people say it can't be done. When I started my YouTube channel when I was 13, I was told that making money online was a stupid idea. A couple of years ago, when I bought my first car in cash, all paid off, from the money that I made from that YouTube channel, I was told that, well, we'll see how long it lasts for. When I'm 21, making revenues, not profits, in the high thousands a month sometimes, with a better car, savings, and options, multiple streams of income, I'm told, well, yeah, but come on, you don't know what you're talking about. You're broke and you're unachieved. So why am I going to take advice from you, Mr. Unhappy, who doesn't know anything about anything? The older I get, and maybe I'm still in a youthful phase, but look, I've said this before. Yes, it was online, a lot of it, but I've spent my time trying to grind out for money. I don't regret those days, and I would do it again if I had to. Money is essential for life. But I've had my days of grinding out money. I've had my days of all that sort of stuff. And you know what I'm learning? Happiness is more important. So why am I going to take any credit or opinions off of people who are unfulfilled by their path? Or even if they are fulfilled. If I would be unfulfilled by that path, the advice is still useless and wrong. There are so many people who love to put you down. As long as you're aware of it, you'll be better off. Thank you. I'll see you soon.